Oh boy, jumping on the bandwagon here. Prey, the latest installment of the Predator franchise, sees a Comanche girl battle a mysterious foe. When I first saw the trailer, I was concerned we would be inundated with the ever-growing trend of woke messaging in films and shows, but to my surprise, Prey did a pretty good job of keeping it solid. A lot of that is due to the setting being 300 years ago. Ain't no corporations to shill for in the past, is there, Hollywood? Sure, there are things to be called out, like a super small girl being able to best a creature that takes a grizzly bear in fisticuffs, but I can deal with the old suspension of disbelief if I must. Aside from her clear size disadvantage though, the film sets up Naru, Legend of Zelda reference much, with the traits such as quick wit and observational skills helping her learn how to best the predator. Naturally, we aren't turning a small Comanche girl into a monster today, although she's pretty much a goddamn video game character with her stupid tomahawk on a rope. It's cool, but it's also stupid. It's stupid cool. I just made that word up. So let's dive into Prey and see what we can do with this feral predator. The movie opens and introduces us to Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, a member of a Comanche tribe as she's awoken to go do some gathering. But she hates digging up tubers and decides to go practice throwing her tomahawk instead. Naru wants to hunt and break down those societal Comanche norms, and while practicing, she hears an elk call. Now for the record, I call bullshit. The sound of her tomahawk was ridiculously loud, and it would have scared any elk away that were in like a 3 to 4 mile radius. Nevertheless, Naru somehow finds the elk, and as she goes for a strike, she hears a loud booming sound that scares the animal. Naru gives chase, and while it seems like a trivial detail I'm focusing on here, it's because she's keeping pace with a goddamn elk, so she's essentially superhuman, I guess. After the chase, her little doggo gets its tail caught in a steel trap, giving us our first hint of Europeans and our first sight of the Predator's ship. We then get introduced to her brother, Harvey Two-Face, Tabby. I make jokes, but he's actually pretty badass. The next day, he and his war band go to hunt a lion that took one of the members of the camp, and Naru joins them and is hazed the entire way. Tabby is actually very supportive of her and believes that she can hunt, and honestly, his character is probably one of the best characters in the whole movie. Finding the tribesman taken by the lion, Naru shows off her medicinal skills with a flower that, air quotes here, slows the blood. Foreshadowing! She also points out something could have scared the lion off since it didn't finish the kill. We get a little shot of the predator killing a snake, and later Naru finds the carcass and a footprint. The other hunters give her shit, but you can tell there is kind of a level of respect as she points out something that they didn't catch. She then sets out to warn Tabby. Back with Tabby, they set a trap for the lion, and Naru falls from a tree, waking back up in the camp, where her brother then returns home with the slain lion and becomes war chief. Naru, pushing that there's something else out there, gets some shit from Tabby saying she just couldn't be a hunter. This is his one dick moment, but you can tell it's rooted in him having to care for her and carry her back, and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. She says, fuck it, I'm gonna hunt anyways. We get a scene of the predator killing a wolf in a samurai duel, and this leads me to one big negative in the film. The animal CG is really bad. Night shots work okay, such as with the cougar, but anything in the daylight, it looks like it's straight out of a video game in a bad way. Trekking over the ridge line, Naru tries to hunt a few rabbits and fails. Her solution? Put a rope on a tomahawk, of course, because now she's Kratos. Like I said, she's a video game character. That's not actually a lie though. The whole rope axe thing and the predator's shield that we see later on were actually inspired by God of War. With rope axe in hand, Naru gets her rabbits and then cooks all 3 because she's a glutton. Listen, I'm not a small man, and 1 rabbit fills me up no matter how active I am. On our little nature walk, Naru comes across a field of dead and skinned bison, finding a cigar on the ground near one. More signs of those dastardly Europeans. The predator follows suit, tracking her after being alerted by her dog's borking. Post the bison, Naru finds herself in a small clearing and falls into some quicksand, pulling herself out with a rope axe. Once clear, she hears a bear while cleaning her gear in the stream, and while attempting to stalk it, becomes downwind of the creature. The bear gives chase, trapping her in a beaver dam, and when all seems lost, the bear breaks away and we get this savage fight between the cloaked predator and the bear. The bear CG looks so bad, but its animation is excellent. It has real weight in the fight, and the predator just brawls with it, finally lifting it overhead after killing it, and you get this amazing reveal as the blood drips all over the cloaked predator's face. Naru runs and is found by a warband looking for her. The warband then meets the predator, and you get a pretty great fight between them. Naru runs away, getting caught in a steel trap and being captured by the Europeans, who are actually French trappers. These guys are comically villainous. They are mustache-twirling, RPG, dirty, gross, uncivilized, like French trappers. It's the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. And wouldn't you know it, they captured Tabby as well. torturing him by cutting him across his chest, kind of reminiscent of what Billy did in the original Predator before he fought the Predator. The trappers use Naru and Tabby as bait to lure the Predator since it killed some of their party, tying them to a tree in a location that looks like it's straight out of the glowing sea from Fallout. We also get the worst fan service line from Tabby of, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." It could have been cool, but just something about it was real, yeah. The plan works and the trappers are brutally slaughtered in the most amazing anime-esque fight. It's great. Naru and Tabby get free and Naru goes to rescue her old doggo and helps one of the trappers, Raphael, in the process. He shows her how to use a flintlock pistol, which happens to be the one seen in Predator 2. Predator 1718 comic was a way cooler backstory for the pistol in my opinion, but I digress. We also see her use of the magic flower, lowering Raphael's body temperature enough to be invisible to the Predator. Gotta point out, I don't know what the body temperature needs to be for the Predator to see, but hypothermia occurs in humans at around 95 degrees. Just saying, your body temperature can't be that low before you become physically useless. This leads Tabby coming to the rescue of Naru, and his fight is another Lord of the Rings anime-esque battle. Sadly, Tabby dies in the battle and Naru escapes, eventually coming across the leader of the trappers, and she captures him and uses him as bait to kill the Predator. She fails to kill the Predator, but blows his helmet off, capturing it and running off. She then sets up a series of traps involving the helmet and eventually baits him into using his arrow caster to kill himself. Naru returns home with the Predator's head and is made the new war chief. I couldn't find anything on if this was actually possible in the Comanche tribe, but I do know that Comanche women were known to be as skilled fighters as the men. And on a side note, the theme song for this movie is pretty damn great. I just genuinely love it. Now, do you really think I'm gonna make a sciencey section about where the Yatucha could get its skills and shit? No, it's kind of gonna be based on us. Let's just talk about the Yatucha in this film franchise, specifically the one we see in Prey. On average, Yatucha are 7 to 8 feet tall and roughly 500 pounds in full gear and are capable of punching through concrete. While they are large, they're also very agile, able to fall from great distances and still land on their feet, and capable of leaping from treetop to treetop. They are bipedal and have humanoid faces with arthropod-like mandibles and fleshy dreadlocks. They're pretty much built to be in a CoverGirl commercial. They see primarily in infrared and with the assistance of their helmets gain more spectrums of sight. Oh, and they've mastered interstellar flight. And their blood also looks like the inside of a glow stick. While the species have two genders, most encounters are with the male of the species. While the females give birth, there's no information on how they raise the children. You might just say, fuck them, they gotta figure it out themselves. Yatucha culture centers around the ritualistic hunting of dangerous life forms, and this practice appears to be the entire foundation of their society. Predators will travel huge distances, even across entire galaxies, in order to face worthy opponents. Their ultimate prey are the xenomorphs of the Alien franchise. The first thing to know about this particular Yatucha is its weapons. While still advanced, they seem less advanced than the later Yatucha that we see in the franchise. The feral predator enjoys utilizing unarmed combat mixed with its wrist blades more than any other weapons, and is clearly skilled with his entire loadout. While a skilled hunter and warrior, he also appears to be younger, lacking experience, and may be overconfident. While he does adhere to the Yatucha honor code for the most part, the feral predator is a little selective about the code in combat. He maintains his cloaking during the fight with the bear, and he activates his camouflage in his fight with Tabby when he becomes frustrated. He also kills a wounded Raphael, but he did kind of surprise him, so that might be okay. His overconfidence can be seen after Naru injures him and proved herself as a worthy adversary. He draws out the fight even though he could have killed her immediately. The feral predator has a short temper as seen when he's challenged by the Comanche hunters or Tabby. His rage is on full display against the French trappers as he stumbles into their bear trap and is being ambushed. The feral predator went on a rampage and used all of his weapons to slaughter his assailants, including explosives, in spite. He enjoys hunting from his treetops, stalking his prey from above. The trees provide protection from bullets and keep him out of sight. This tactic proves to be effective against humanity since the jungle hunter would use it against Dutch and his team decades later. The Yatucha is an iconic creature, so let's see what kind of hunter will be stalking your player at your next session. Birthed in the Feywilds, the Yatucha is the ultimate hunter, born into a life around one thing, taking only the most difficult prey. Through years of honing their skill, the Yatucha grow in influence in their clans. It is unknown at what age the first hunt takes place, but know that young Yatucha have been known to slay skilled warriors and magic users, and veteran Yatucha have even been known to solo ancient dragons. If you are unlucky and find yourself being stalked by one, your best hope is it's a novice, or it may be claiming your skull as its next trophy. Since there are variations on the Yatucha, this particular loadout is based off the feral predator we see, so no shoulder cannon that's going to be be shooting off fireballs this time. This is the Yatucha New Blood, a medium humanoid lawful neutral creature with 14 armor, 156 hit points, a move speed of 30 and a run speed of 60, 18 strength, 17 dex, 15 con, 14 int, 12 wisdom, and 5 charisma. Saving throws of strength and con. It has acrobatics, athletics, insight, stealth, investigation, survival, perception, and nature. Passive perception of 11, it's a challenge rating 5. Its first ability is savagery. When brought below half health or when hit with any stealth attack, the Yatucha enrages, adding 5 to its movement speed and 1d6 damage to all attacks. A gimmick to the Yatucha New Blood, or all Yatucha, is its battle helm. This provides it particular abilities when it has the helm, and when it doesn't have the helm, it loses these abilities. Battle helm. The Yatucha New Blood helm is its ultimate tool. When the helm is equipped, the Yatucha has the following, and when it's removed, it loses the following. Tricaster proficiency. The Tricaster has advantage on all attack rolls. Invisibility. The Yatucha can cast the invisibility spell with no cooldown at any point in time. True Sight. The Yatucha has True Sight up to 120 feet. Savage weapons. The Yatucha's spear can be split into a mace or a sword. This requires an action. The Yatucha's attacks are its wrist blades, Tricaster, which has the unique feature that the Yatucha can target up to 3 separate targets with a single arrow, or 1 target with 3 arrows, or 1 target with 1 and 1 with 2, essentially. You can pick and choose. The Yatucha has a mace and a sword and a spear, but in reality, it has a spear that it can turn into a mace and a sword, and like mentioned in Savage Weapons, this requires an action. Is Prey the amazing, super duper awesome Predator film we've all been waiting for? No, it's not. Is Prey a solid Predator movie that cleanses the palate from that shitstorm called The Predator? Yes. Prey is a serviceable film, and personally I did enjoy it, enough to watch it twice specifically for this. There's clear wokish things that are a bit annoying, but if you ignore them, you get a proper violent sci-fi survival horror movie that's pretty gory. The film treats the Predator with respect and made it the formidable foe we all know it to be. To compare Prey to the original Predator is unfair. The original Predator was a masterpiece, with solid writing, great little twist, and badass testosterone-driven action stars. It was lightning in a bottle. We'll never truly see action stars such as Arnold and Stallone again. They're sadly a product of a bygone era. A fucking epic era, but a bygone one. I could go into a whole rant about how much I love that movie and what it does right, but this isn't the time and the place. Alright, that's enough out of me. Until next time.